His name is Mr. Bangoshe. So we are going to anchor this program for today. So we're going to start with the introduction of the guest. But before we continue, I want to just let us know that we have not come here to waste our times. We have not come here to waste our times. So you've come here to learn. If you don't have the expectation of learning before, you should have it now. You could get your pens, your books to write everything that you need to know. Are we good? Are we good? All right. So I'll leave the introduction of the guest to my co-host here.
All right. Good morning, everybody, and welcome once again to Fbms Career Symposium. And just like you know, the theme is Leaders Are Made, Not Born. So I want to congratulate every one of you that you are here, and I want you to be expectant to at least receive a piece of information that will equip you for the journey ahead. All right. The first on our guest list this morning is our very own the Dean of Faculty, the Professor Amotu Mokwilola Dejiagola. Please, can you please give her a round of applause as she walks to the stadium? And
sorry, can you do that with a standing ovation? Come on now, standing ovation as we welcome the Dean of the Faculty. Can I hear your hands everywhere? Let's continue until she sits. Until she sits, yes.
Also present here with Ramo is the chairman of the Quality Assurance and Control, the very Dr. Olanrewaju. Please, can we give her a clapping ovation as we proceed to the front? Dr. Adeyoju, please, can you continue to give the ovation? Also present, we have our invited guest, Dr. Taiwo Abayomi Banjo. Okay, it's not around yet. We also have Dr. Oluwatosin Shoyinka. We have Dr. Akonji Murtala, who is the subdean of the faculty. Please, can you come to me? Okay, you're busy. All right, sir. We also have Dr. Oluwabu Solami at Sekoja. Then, lastly, we have Dr. Emmanuel Otaiwo.
Okay. So, we welcome you all to this program again. Like we have formally introduced you to this symposium. So we'll be having the welcome address right now. Before we continue, I want you to put your hands together for yourselves for being here. Can you do that? Can you put your hands together for yourselves? Whatever department that you are in, you're very much welcome. And please be attentive as you continue in this. We'll be having the welcome address by the Dean of the Faculty in person of Professor Mokwilola Dejiagola. Can you put your hands together for her?
Thank you very much. Great OUite. Great OUite. Greatest OUite. Yeah, the great is not echoing. Are you not proud to be great OUite? Great OUite. Yeah. I want to thank you all for being here. This is my welcome address to you. Distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, respected faculty members and their students, it is with great pleasure that I welcome you all to this occasion. Career fair and sort of symposium, one of its kind. I believe it will be the first one for the Faculty of Basic Medical Sciences, organized by the Quality Control and Assurance Committee of this great faculty. So you are all welcome. The student career is to mark yet another steps in our shared commitment to excellence in education, professional development, and advancement of medical sciences. The field of basic medical science serves as a cornerstone of health innovation, providing the fundamental in clinical practice and medical research. Our students, the future leaders of this vital discipline, stand on the cusp of opportunity that will not only shape their career, but also have a profound impact on health and well-being of the society. The fair and symposium is an initiative designed to bridge the gap between academic learning and professional practice. It brings together an impressive assembly of industry experts, seasoned professionals, and accomplished alumni, offering insight into the myriad of career paths that are available in our field. Whether it is research, education, biotechnology, or clinical applications, the opportunity are vast, and today's event is your gateway to explore more. Our students, I encourage you to seize this opportunity to ask questions, engage with our speakers, and network with them. So let's have network activities. You can engage them, ask your questions, and I believe you will get satisfactory answers to your questions. The knowledge and connection you gain today can illuminate your career path and inspire the ambition and focus needed to achieve your goals. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to the organizing committee, our guest speakers, and all those who have worked tirelessly behind the scene to make this event a success. The dedication exemplifies the collaborative spirit that the committee has put in place. Once again, I welcome you all, wish you an enriching and inspiring experience. Let us make this day a meaningful connection, impactful learning, and forward-thinking discussion. So I welcome every one of you to this occasion. Thank you very much.
All right, can we put our hands together again? Can we put our hands together again? Come on.
have in our midst our esteemed alumni, who is one of the guest speakers of today. Please, I would like you to join me to welcome Dr. Shola Awoyemi. Please, can you please come to the high table? Please, can we keep clapping as we welcome him? Give him a long way to make this meeting. Thank you very much. Next on our agenda is the first presentation. The topic is navigating career paths through personal branding. And the person in charge of that will be Dr. Shola, Mr. Adefemi Adefuye. Please, let's welcome him on stage.
To the Dean of the Faculty, Basic Medical Sciences, I say good morning, ma. To the organizing committee of this meeting, good morning. And to our special guests of honor, I also say good morning to you. And also to the participants, I say very good morning to every one of you. Dr. Oyeshola Ojewumi, PhD, is a person that represents a senior research fellow in genomics at the Precision Healthcare University Research Institute, Queen Mary, University of London, in London, United Kingdom. His current work uses advanced methods to address genetic heterogeneity in genome-wide association meta-analysis of diverse population and find mapping with emphasis on African ancestry. His research also delves into sickle cell disease, investigating genotype-phenotype correlations that integrate multi-omics datasets to unravel markers and pathways with biological and clinical relevance. Prior to his role as a senior research fellow, Dr. Ojewumi worked as a research fellow in genetic epidemiology at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine in London, United Kingdom. Dr. Ojewumi Oyeshola earned a Bachelor of Science in Biochemistry from Olabisi Onabanjo University in 2007. He obtained a master's degree and a Doctor of Philosophy in Biochemistry from the University of Lagos, Nigeria. During his postdoctoral fellowship at King's College London, Dr. Oyeshola Ojewumi led a groundbreaking genome-wide association study of fetal hemoglobin in Nigerian patients with sickle cell disease. His exceptional contributions in his role resulted in wide-known and well-deserved awards as well as distinctions. Oyeshola's research expertise encompasses various skills crucial for advancing genetic studies, from hands-on wet lab-based experiments to intricate statistical genetic analysis, including genome-wide association analysis. His commitment to the academic community is evident through his active involvement in teaching, where he imparts knowledge and guidance to undergraduate and postgraduate students, reflecting also on his dedication to training the next generation of researchers. He is also committed to developing young African scientists with capacity for genomics and data science. He has published more than 20 research articles in peer-reviewed journals and is a review editor for Frontiers Hematology. Ladies and gentlemen, this morning I present to us Dr. Oyinsola Oje.
I would be talking about navigating career path through personal branding, and I will be sharing my personal story, and after that I will charge you with some points and also give opportunity for people to ask their questions before in the introduction, when they read my biography, I finished in 2007 with Bachelor of Science in Biochemistry, and I was privileged to be supervised by Dr. Adeyanju. And when I finished in 2007, we waited for about 1 year before we
Recording in progress.
before we went for NYSC, and then after that I did my master's at the University of Lagos. That was 2009, 2010, and then did my PhD at the University of Lagos. My own path is unique, and the reason why I try to share that is because while I tell you what I have been doing over the years, it's not going to be a template for somebody to copy and you want to follow step by step, because everybody's journey is unique, and that's the personal branding which I'll be talking about is all about. Okay, so for me, why did I choose the career I am in? In year 3, when we were doing molecular biology, we were being taught by the then Dr. Daini, and sometimes we find the course very difficult because it was new to us, and sometimes we find some aspects very interesting, and I felt, I would like to major in this area in the future, and I would like to be a professor of molecular biology, genetics, so I liked something related to biology, to genetics and all of that. And that was where I picked my interest from in year 3, when we were doing, I think we call it microbial genetics. That was year 3 in the first semester. And then I started building up that interest, and I felt if I would like to become a professor in molecular biology, then the next thing for me would be to do my master's. So when I went for NYSC, I got opportunity to do postgraduate training in education, so which was a year. So I was able to do it alongside my NYSC. Then I served in Zamfara, and after that I wanted to go for my master's. And when I purchased the master's form, I wanted to do it in University of Lagos because I had a friend who had gone to University of Lagos and all of that. I said, okay, let me go there. It may be a good opportunity for me to build on what I have learned before. To be a new environment for me. So I went to University of Lagos, did my master's. I got a distinction, and I was the best graduate student in my class in 2010. Shortly after that, the PhD form, I took the form, but before the admission, I got a job, and the first job I got was as a molecular biologist at the Sickle Cell Foundation, Nigeria. I also tried some other opportunities, but my mind was really in the academia. I wanted to do research. I wanted to be in the teaching sector, in the teaching area. So that's what my passion is. So as we talk about navigating career path, I would mention in one of my slides the fact that you identify what before. This is the time to identify it. Okay, you face challenges, you face difficulties, but if you know that this is what you are passionate at, this is what you want to do, and you give it your best, you will definitely get it. and you are not doing anything to copy another person, you are following your career path. From experience, I've seen people who also, like when I did masters, I see people who also were doing masters because they felt they didn't get a job. And then the next thing for them was to do masters in what they have done, BSc in, and then they came to do okay? So to talk today, open is free, depending on your individuality, depending on your personality, depending on what you want and what you want to become. Today, I'm in the academia, I'm doing research, and I have quite a number of my colleagues that we finished in OU in 2007 that are also in the same field. And I also have, at the same time, I have some of my friends that will finish in 2007, OU. Management, they're into auditing, they're into acting, different communications and all of that. Okay, so don't limit yourself, that's the point. You must find what works for you and stick to it. Biochemistry, 4 years that you have studied, it's giving you an opportunity to maximize your potential, to ask yourself, what can I do with my life? What can I do with my gift? What can I do with what I have? It is not saying that you must do what you have. People want to go into industry, you want to go into research, you want to go into diagnostics. There are different career paths that you can go into as biochemist. So the first thing I would like to say from my slide is take the initiative, be responsible, okay? If you want to stand out, you must be ready to step out. Most people want to just but stand out. If you want to be, don't blame the university that you went to or the school you've gone to. Don't blame your parents. Don't blame your background. Don't blame your financial status. Don't even blame the government. You can't blame Nigeria, you can't blame anyone or anything. You must be responsible, you must take initiative. What exactly do you want? Okay? What do you want to do? Take ownership of your choices. You are in for that dream job. Before you find something to do, you must be doing something. When I finished in 2007, what I did while waiting for NYSC was to teach. I was teaching in JAM classes, I was teaching in A-level classes, okay? And when I got to when I came back from NYSC, I also started doing, while I was waiting to start my master's program, I was so when you are waiting for something big or something coming. Number two, a unique person. Don't copy others. Okay? When you finish your first degree, maybe in a few months or in a few weeks, depending on the semester you are, what do you want to do? You don't want to do what everybody is doing. Okay? Is it that you want to do masters? So for me, before I started masters at the University of Lagos, during my NYSC, I started checking which schools abroad I could go to. And my first reason for wanting to go abroad for my masters was because I wanted to improve what I'm learning. I wanted to do good science. I wanted to make sure that I'm at par with my colleagues globally and I'm on top of what I'm doing. That's the reason why I wanted to go abroad. Okay, but the opportunities I was looking for, I didn't get them. And of course, there was some information that I didn't have access to then, which could have helped me. But of course, I'm grateful to God for where I am, for what I am doing. Okay, I'm just saying that at some point, I didn't have access to some information. And you are lucky today to have Dr. Shola at this symposium, because he's into that area and he can guide you a lot about how you can pursue your postgraduate degree abroad if that's your goal. Okay, but I didn't let that limit me when I didn't get that. I enrolled for masters at the University of Lagos. Okay, even when I did my PhD, after PhD, I wanted postdoctoral fellowship. A late professional search. By the time you know that you are finishing in the next 2 years, you started looking for what you want to do next. Are you going to you want to do something else, or you want to do a postdoctoral fellowship to start looking for it? Because in most cases, people get postdoctoral fellowship even before they finish their PhD. Okay, so I started late on that, and because of 3 years, I stayed 3 years. Of course, I was working, but I stayed 3 years before I could start my postdoctoral fellowship. I was working at the School Foundation within this period because I've been working with them since 2011. Even while doing my PhD, I was still working with them, and of course, that helped me a lot because we have a very good laboratory at that center, and then it allowed me to do my PhD alongside the diagnostics work we were doing at that time. And then I started my postdoctoral fellowship in 2020. So my point is, you can start early on whatever you think you want to do, okay? But you must be sure that this is unique to you and this is what you want to do. I've seen people who just wanted to do PhD or wanted to do masters because that's what they think they can do. Don't limit yourself. There are so many things you can do within the confines of biochemistry and even outside, okay? So if you don't know yourself, you have a little chance of achieving success. So you must know yourself. Don't copy others. Don't compare yourself to others. Okay? If you copy others, compare to what the stones you want. Identify who you are. Who are you? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What can you do? Within biochemistry and outside biochemistry, what are you passionate about? Our college in 2007 from OU, who went back to study medicine. I had one of our friends who went back to study pharmacy because that's where their passion is, that's what they wanted to do. Okay, that may not be the right thing for you. Your goal might be to do master and go on in the academia or to go into the industry, and you can actually go into didactics even with your PhD. But that's not what you are passionate about. Okay, so you must identify who you are. You must identify what you have. What do you have at hand? What can you do with what you have? In my own case, I knew who I was in 2007 when I finished. What do I have? I have the skill to teach. So I started doing that. Okay? What do you want? What do you want to become in life? What do you want to become in future? Okay? If you know that you more opportunities. If there are opportunities to do masters abroad or to do masters anywhere, what they will ask you is what has been your experience. And when you are writing your statement of purpose, they want to see that your uniqueness, they want to see that your personal branding in it. What were the opportunities you have seized in the past? Have you had opportunity for internships? I know you did CWES. It used to be in year 3 and year 4. I don't know when you do it now. Did you learn anything from the internship? Apart from that, if you have opportunity when you finish, or maybe you are doing your postgraduate, is that this, you are doing masters or you are doing PhD, and you are for instance to do as part of your project that you can't do in the school, but you can learn elsewhere. When I was doing my BSc that time, as far back as 2007, there were people who went to Nightmare, we went to Babcock, and we were doing quite a number of things. We were collaborating with people. I was learning, and those things also form part of my experience. And when I was doing my masters, those things that I've learned during my BSc gave me that courage, gave me that confidence to really succeed well on my master's program. Okay? So seize the opportunity. If you have opportunities for online training to learn new skills, look for them. But make sure that the internship you are seeking and the online training you are learning, they are building up skills for you that will enable you to become what you want to become. Okay, and that's why I said you can't copy her. When you free, you must update the show your skill. You become rotten, you become outdated. But for you to be advancing in your career, for you to start on a good note, like those of you that are having, that you are still doing your BSc, you need to look for new skills. What are the skills required? You want to become a professor. When you go into fashion designing and all of that, you need to ask yourself, what are the skills that they require for this? People say there are no jobs, but I tell you there are jobs. But the jobs are only meant for people, the jobs are for people who are ready to step part of the crowd. You must be able to embrace personal discipline. If you are not disciplined to follow through on what you want to become, you cannot achieve your goals. The end for instance, what to do? Master, you are doing BSc, you are doing MSc, sure you then, if you want to, I beg your pardon, if you want to improve your net worth, then you must improve your network. Okay? Make sure that you have good relationship with your professors. Okay? Because this is what will enable you to talk to them, and then they'll be able to write you a reference letter. If they don't know you well, this from personal experience, I also write reference letters for students, for postgraduate studies. The students that I don't know well, if they come to me and I don't want to reject them, I try to write them a reference letter anyway. But the students that I really, really know well, that we really work together, and really learn under me, I find out that I pour a lot of myself into that reference letters, and that makes a lot of difference. Because again, I want to say exactly who you are. I don't want to lie. Okay, to any school that I'm writing to, I want to give the right picture. To write a look about you, pour myself to it. When I really know you, so develop that good relationship with your professors. Look for mentors. Ask questions. I look for people who can guide me and creating a strong network for yourself. Create a digital presence online, okay? Have a LinkedIn account. Have a research account. You see people telling you of different opportunity, postgraduates, from also experience. I mean, we also hire people where I work currently. Sometimes when you want to hire, you want to find out that the people that can really do it, there are not many. And some people will promise you that they can do the job, and when you hire them, they can't do the job. Okay, so I'm talking from experience that a lot of people are looking for who to hire, but people will say there is no job. What they don't have is the requisite skill that matches up with the job that they are looking for. So make sure you build online presence and make sure you enhance your skill to match the kind of job that you are looking for. And please note it, your values, your skills, and your professional image, they are very important. And make sure they cut across all platforms. You are not professional, I mean, you are not just only professional on LinkedIn and in other space where your name is, especially when you register those accounts with your name, you are something else. So no, you don't want to do that. You want to make sure that across forms, reputation. If you have the opportunity, friends, okay, seek for collaboration, seek collaborations. Look for ways to expand your knowledge and network. This is the way to build your personal branding. It's not just all about everyone in your class now or all your colleagues, okay? It's about you, okay? For those of you that ask, okay, how you need to, now you need to build relationship with your peers, you need to build relationship with industry experts. You also need to build relationship with your professors, like I mentioned before, and that cannot be overemphasized, okay? Because they will help you a lot. Some of the things you are struggling to do, they can help you to quickly navigate them. So please, don't forget, take the initiative, know yourself, invest in yourself, make sure what you are doing is right for you, don't copy other people. While you are looking for that big thing that you want, make sure you are doing something at that point, okay? Because that also can launch you into the greater thing that you are looking for in the future. And if I will tell you briefly about how I got my first postdoctoral position in 2020, I have worked with somebody before, and they have really seen what I could do and all of that. And then when there was an opportunity that opened up in their lab, they communicated me, okay? And then I applied and I got the job, okay? Of course, you'll go through my interview and all of that, all those processes are there, okay? But the most important thing is I was doing my PhD because I knew what I was looking for, or even start my first doctoral fellowship, but eventually I got one, okay? But, and of course for me, the reason why I went for the postdoctoral fellowship was because, yes, at the level of BSc, I mean, I must be sincere with you, at the level of BSc, the curriculum we have for biochemistry at Olabisi Onabanjo University is standard anywhere in the world. You can stand on the same shoulder with your peers anywhere in the world with your BSc. Okay? What only makes the difference in the BSc is, for instance, those that are abroad, they have opportunity to do internship here and there, and which also help them at the time they are looking for other job opportunities or looking for opportunities for postgraduate studies. But for those of you that have done CWES in relevant area to biochemistry, to genetics, you will also find that to be very, very useful. Okay, but I did it abroad, so I wanted to have that cover, okay, something to cover that gap in my training during my PhD, because I mean, you know the limitations we have with equipment, with resources and all of that. I wanted to stand on the same shoulder with my pal globally. Okay, and that's what I look for that opportunity to be solid, and so must be sure himself towards what you want. Thank you very much for listening. I hope that has been a great time.
Please, can we do that better for Dr. Shola Odeowo? Thank you very much, sir. We are so grateful for the insightful presentation. So, is there anyone here with one or two questions? Please, can you come forward? We can only accommodate very few questions.
Yes. Yeah, I have questions.
Okay. Please, if you can't come out, you can just write it and just come and drop your question quickly for him, please. All right, let's have you, the online person that has a question. We cannot hear you if you are speaking, sir.
Professor Usman, you can go ahead with your question.
Okay, yeah, thank you. I'm Professor Usman, the director of CWS Olabisi Onabanjo University Agbewe. I want to thank the presenter. In fact, that is what the university has been saying to our students, that you have to work hard, believe in yourself, and make sure that you are doing the right thing. Saying now, and I want to use this medium on behalf of my directorate to thank the presenter for what he has been able to do this morning. He has been able to pick something on the net so that our students, with all this, our students, they will know how to go about their activities in life. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Professor Usman. I appreciate your comments.
All right, is there anybody with question here, please? Can you come forward, please? Come and drop it. If you
Just
can,
drop
just
it.
come and drop it if you can't.
Well, I want to ask the presenter. You talked about career paths through personal branding. Can you explain in relation to the medical laboratory science department? Okay, career paths through personal branding. You talked about that. I want him to explain in relation to medical laboratory science.
Is there anybody with question?
Okay. Do we have students who are in medical laboratory science in the hall? Hello?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, we have students that are medical laboratory science students in the hall, right?
Yes.
Okay. So in medical laboratory science, there are so many opportunities for you. The easiest one, which many people do, is to start working in diagnostics laboratory. Okay? If you want to do that in Nigeria, once you finish your BSc, you will get certification from the Medical Laboratory Council of Nigeria, and then that allows you to practice. But if you want to do that, you will need a different certification on top of the one you have from Nigeria. So there is a different route for that, especially when you don't have any experience before. But if you have had experience before, it will help you to quickly get that certification. So whether in Nigeria or abroad, you have the opportunity to practice exactly as laboratory scientists, whichever area you want to choose, whether in hematology, whether it's in chemistry, whether it's in histopathology, and what have you. But apart from that, you could also be interested in pursuing PhD. If you do PhD, maybe you want to now use that in the industry. There are pharmaceutical industries, there are biotechnology industries that will also need your skill, that will need your expertise. So there's that opportunity, but it will be open to those who have PhD. There are also opportunities for you elsewhere if you don't want to go again in line with the medical laboratory science. You want to do something different. okay? Or you want to, depending on the experience you have, there are people also who may be interested in other aspects of the industry, which in this case might not even be related to medical laboratory science at all. So it just comes to what you really want. If what you want is in line with what you have studied in your bachelor, good. Then how high do you want to go? Okay? Oh, do I need to do masters? Do I need to do PhD? Depending on what you want. So that's what I would say generally. But if you want to know more or you want to contact me, you are free. I can drop my email. You can contact me. We can talk more on one-on-one basis instead of this general discussion. But for general discussion, this is what I'm going to say.
I want to do Jennifer. It's going to come. I have called her.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, sir, for that response. There are questions here, and I would ask them. I'm a 400 level biochemistry student, and I want to go study medicine. But I don't know if I should write JAM again, or I should go for NYSC and come back for medicine through direct entry. But I really want to serve as a medical student. So this person is asking, what should I do? So
yeah, I got the question.
Please, can you hold on, doctor, please? Let's take all the questions together at once so that you can attend to
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
All right,
Okay.
The next question. Is it possible for me to have my BSc in nursing and then proceed to have my master's in another field of study like medicine? I'll come again with a question. Is it possible for me to have
I got that. I got it.
Oh, thank you very much, sir. And the last question. How to apply to graduate schools abroad? So the person is asking how to he or she apply.
I got that.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Okay. So the first one, to go to medicine, you want to study medicine. If you are sure that's what you really want, yes, pursue it, and don't let anybody discourage you. Okay. But in terms of the timing, that will be dependent on you, okay? In our own case, if you're already in 400 level and you are going to take JAM next year, you want to take direct entry next year, the question is, by the time you'll be taking direct entry, will your result have been out from your BSc, which you will use to apply? Which school are you applying to? What are the requirements? I don't know whether they require NYSC as part of the requirements. I don't know. So look at the requirements. Anytime you feel you meet up with all the requirements will be the right time for you to apply. So the timing will be right for you when you know all the requirements and you know you have all the requirements, you can fulfill all the requirements. That will be the right time for you. That will be the answer to that. The person who is doing nursing and thinking maybe they want to do masters and may possibly do something later. Yes, but make sure it's possible to do BSc nursing now and do something else during nursing. But when you are doing something else during nursing, it will be something very related to nursing. For instance, you could do MSc maybe in social work or MSc in psychology, and some other areas that are related to nursing, okay? But I'm not sure you'll be able to do MSc in something that is so much related to medicine itself, as a medical doctor. There are some courses that are really, postgraduate courses that are really for those who are clinicians, as doctors. But as for nurses, I'm not very sure. So I may not be able to speak so widely on that in nursing and medicine because I'm not one. I'm a biomedical scientist, but I'm just talking from experience that it is possible to do nursing and you want to do any other thing in your MSc, maybe MSc in nutrition or MSc in public health. Yeah, it's possible. But make sure whatever MSc you are doing, it aligns with what you want to become, so that you're not just acquiring certificates that will not be useful for what you want. It's something that is adding up to your skill and that will make you to be upgraded and get what you want. You are not just doing something for getting certificates. You are doing it for a purpose to enhance your skill and to improve your employability. the third person about the graduate school. I think I will leave that one to Dr. Awoyemi to talk about, because he does a lot of things about graduate school. And then he'll be able to help you on how to navigate that part.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ojeomi. Please, can we give him Thank you very much, sir. So if you want to contact Dr. Shola Ojeomi personally via email, you can do that on oyeshola16@yahoo.com. Oyeshola, S, not SH, OYESOLA16@yahoo.com. So while the presentation was on, we have the privilege to receive the third presenter of the day, the president of Dr. Abayomi Banjo. Please, can we appreciate him as he comes to the podium? Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Okay, so we are moving on to the second presentation.
With us this morning, representative from Cadbury. So if they are around, are they around yet? They are around. All right, please can you come to this item? Please can we appreciate them? They are our able sponsor for this program. We appreciate you. God bless you. Also, we have sponsor from Seagreen Pharmaceuticals. So please can we? Where are the representatives? Please can you come to the high table? Can we appreciate them, please? Thank you very much for committing to this program. We appreciate you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we are going on to the next presentation, and it's as a topic, and the topic is transitioning into an early career scientist in the BMS field. I'll take that again. Transitioning into an early career scientist in the basic medical science field. And that will be done by Dr. Shola Awoyemi. And I would like to still celebrate my co-host to present and read his biography. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed colleagues and honored guests, it is with great pleasure and profound respect that I present to you a distinguished scientist and leader in the field of toxicology, the president of Dr. Shola Awoyemi, fondly known as Dr. Omar. Dr. Awoyemi's journey began in the vibrant neighborhood of Lagos, Nigeria, where he laid the foundation of his academic pursuit through primary and secondary education. He attended the notable institutions including Arrow Shegbe Primary School and Unity Secondary School in Oye-Ekiti. His relentless pursuit of knowledge led him to a higher education at Olabisi Onabanjo University, where he earned his Bachelor of Science degree in biochemistry. This was followed by 3 master's degrees from Obafemi Awolowo University, the University of Lagos, and Texas Tech University, specializing in environmental management, toxicology, and business management, respectively. Dr. Awoyemi's quest for excellence did not stop there. He commenced a PhD program at the University of Lagos, which he could not complete. He further honed his expertise at Tennessee State University, obtaining his PhD, and continued to broaden his horizon with an MBA and another PhD from Texas Tech University. His academic journey is a testament of his commitment to lifelong learning and his dedication to the field of toxicology. In addition to his impressive academic background, Dr. Awoyemi has undergone postdoctoral training in risk assessment at the US EPA headquarters in Washington, D.C. Currently, as a senior scientist and risk assessment toxicologist at Altria, Dr. Awoyemi applies his extensive expertise to ensure public safety and advance our understanding of toxicological risks. His contributions to the field are not only noteworthy, but also essential for the protection of our communities and environment. His career of teaching specialization and over 10 years of teaching experiences include mathematics, algebra, calculus, statistics, biology, chemistry, physics, toxicology, and data analysis using software such as IBM SPSS, SASDMP, GraphPad Prism, and Excel Stat. Dr. Aweyemi's professionalism membership speak volumes about his commitment to his craft. He is a diplomate of the American Board of Toxicology, a member of the Society of Toxicology, the American College of Toxicology, and the Society of the Environmental Toxicology and Chemistry. His involvement in this organization highlights his dedication to mentorship and the cultivation of the next generation of toxicologists. His hobbies include teaching, swimming, playing and watching tennis games, watching NBA, and traveling. Today we celebrate not just Dr. Aweyemi's achievements, but also his unwavering commitment to science, education, and community service. He exemplifies the spirit of inquiry and the pursuit of knowledge, inspiring all of us to strive for excellence in our respective field. Please join me in honoring Dr. Shola Aweyemi, a true trailblazer in toxicology, whose work continues to have a profound impact on public health and environmental safety.
Thank you, I appreciate that. Thank you. It's my honor to be here to speak with you guys. It's something that I've longed for quite some time now. I think about 2 years I've been trying to do this with the students here as a way of giving back to the school to which I graduated my own first degree. And I want to give thanks to Dr. Adeoju for who happens to be a course advisor when I was in 100 level, probably up to maybe 300 at the time, while I was here as a student, both in Agor and then Ikene. And I appreciate her for letting this be a possibility for today, because I believe that my own personal story, just like Shola, my colleague that we graduated back then, also reiterated his own story. It's going to be an inspiring one to some of you guys here, because if you think you're in a very hard situation and you might be thinking, maybe I might not be able to get through school with the situation of things, maybe at home or while you're here, then when you hear a part of my own story, then you can tell that whatever journey you're facing right now does not really account for where you're going ahead, as long as you have a vision that is pretty much on a high scale, irrespective of whatever situation you're facing. So today, I'm going to be talking through transitioning into an early career research scientist in the field of basic medical sciences. Because I want to believe that majority of everyone here, since it's the faculty of the basic medical science, I want to believe that most of us here are going to be, I want to believe that you're going to be practicing in the field to which you're currently going to be obtaining your first degree. I'm a biochemist by first degree, and I've transitioned into other things beyond biochemistry. And for me, in terms of my background, I wanted to study medicine, and I believe many of you probably have similar story. So I wanted to study medicine, but medicine didn't work out during, after taking JAM and trying to get in. Even though at the point in time I was trying to use the vice chancellor to be able to, to come in. Then I eventually ventured through biochemistry, and then year 1, year 2, so there's a way biochemistry is done here where you can cross back to medicine. And at year 3, at the beginning of year 3, we tried to do that, go through that route again. And Dr. Adeoju probably knew about this whole experience at the time. And then I had some courses that came out in agriculture or GNS or something that then messed up my GPA further, and I couldn't get into medicine at the time. And I went further to complete my biochemistry, and like myself, and because I remember back in Ikene that time, I couldn't even come to class. I had to stay back in my, in my apartment in Ikene at the time, and I would just cry and then worry like, maybe it's just the end of the world because I couldn't, get into medicine. And I had a lot of my, many of my friends at the time that were able to cross into medicine because we had the same aspiration after getting into 200 level, that when we were about to get into 300 level, we'll come back to 200 level medicine at the time. But that didn't work out because I believe God knows where we're going, and at times some disappointment will cross our path and we will think maybe it's the end of the world, but you know, as long as you set your eyes on the prize ahead, you probably will still get things done. So at that point in time, you know, after I finished undergrad, like some people were asking if you could go back to medicine, I took JAMB all over again. And funny enough, I took JAMB, but the issue about the JAMB even at the time was I was bounced out of the exam hall because I took the late JAMB form, and I thought, for me, I thought I took the right form, but I was made to understand that it was a fake form, and I was seated, and somebody else was supposed to be on that seat. So I couldn't be, I wasn't able to take that JAMB at that point in time because I was thinking I would come back for medicine. Then during NYC, I took another JAMB, and then I came to OU to write, post UTME and the likes, but I couldn't get in again. So I went to UniBen, I think UI as well. I took their post exams, but I was given physiology. But I wanted to be a medical doctor and not anything else. So I didn't take those exams, I didn't take those admissions at the time. Then I went to OAU because OAU was my first, love, thinking that was where I wanted to study medicine at the beginning before I came to OAU, came to Olabisi Nabanja University. So when I went to OAU, I was told that there wasn't going to be a direct entry at the point in time, and the professor I met with that was supposed to help me now said, why not just go further? If all of this stress I've gone through, maybe there is something about this medicine that wasn't coming forth, that I should just proceed with a higher advanced degree. So I thought of master's program at the point in time. Then I was able to get into OAU to study, to continue my education. And then continue my education from OAU, finished my master's from there, and then came down to University of Lagos. I did a second master's over there so that I would be able to get into their PhD program. Then I was in the PhD program, and at the point I was already applying to schools abroad. So for me, I told myself I needed to just stay in the academic environment to be able to, kind of get myself acclimated with the fact that I need to keep applying to schools abroad. And I told myself, anytime my admission comes, I'm ready to leave. So the year one of my PhD, there was no admission. I got some admission, there was no scholarship. And at the time, there was no way for me to foot bills of $20,000 or $30,000 for me to be able to, go study abroad. So because all I do to be able to survive, even while I was in Ikene here, there was nobody to sponsor me to school. So at that point in time, I was always teaching. So you will see me in Mayflower, in some hostels in Ikene at the time. I would go and teach, and sometimes I would not be able to even have transport fare from Ikene to go to the campus at Ikene. So I would stay back at home. I would go and teach instead, and then be able to gather some money for me to be able to feed. So at that point in time, for me, it was a tough time, but then, I was able to navigate through. So that same spirit was there with me, or the energy was there that I could still teach even while I was in grad school. So while I was in grad school, whether I was in IFE, when I was in Unilag, I would always teach JAMB lessons and tutorials for UTME or for WAEC, both in IFE, both in, and in Lagos as well. So I would always shuttle IFE and Lagos from morning and night, to be able to teach and be able to, foot my bills, to be able to also pay my graduate school programs. So, and all of the money that I was earning at the point in time, I was also using it to apply for schools abroad. And then when I was about to start my third year PhD, the admission came, and I was able to get out of the country on a full scholarship. So, and then the rest is history up till now. So I was able to get all my 3 degrees that I needed to get outside of the country, both 2 PhDs and an MBA program that I did as well. And then here I am today. So for me, I then started. So as a way of giving back, I navigated the way on my own with a lot of information in my hand. So I told myself, if I can give this information to as many that are out there that are younger ones coming up, they will be able to make use of this information, and it can really help. So I started my own mentorship program where I try to educate and encourage and mentor people who want to study abroad. So if it's left to me, I would want everybody here after graduating to be out of this country. But I understand I don't want to drain the knowledge of the country. So whoever probably has a passion to get additional education outside, I think it's a good thing. For me, my going abroad is not because I want to go and stay there, like people talk about Japa these days. It wasn't my own dream. Mine is just to acquire an advanced education outside of the country that make me to be globally competitive. So my intention is to come back finally. So I usually come home every year to meet with my mentees and have interactions with them. So for me, generally, getting an education abroad wasn't to actually stay out there. If everything comes back to where I'm looking for, I definitely will be back home finally as well. So I'm saying this to say that whatever story that you have right now and whatever situation you may be going through, no matter how hard, because at the time, for me, if I'm even going back to Lagos, I'll go and stay on the roadside and then try to wave, because I don't have transportation to go back home. And I wave on the roadside for people to take me back to Lagos, at that point in time while I was here as a student as well. So some of you may have some of these stories going on, because many people don't know, even amidst my friends and my colleagues that we did biochemistry together, they never knew what I was facing at the time until I kind of created a transcript and I shared it on our WhatsApp group. And they were really surprised because they never knew what was going on at the time. So many of you may be smiling right now, and some of us may be facing a lot of issues personally, but I want to tell you that whatever you are facing right now, because even at the time, I had colleagues of mine that were driving cars and the likes. And whenever they are passing through my house, because where I was staying is all goats, all living around the place with all goat sheets and all the likes. And then when my colleagues were passing through my hostel back in the day, I always run back in and hide because I don't want them to know that's where I live. So today is a different story because I can tell you that I have colleagues of mine that through my knowledge sharing and the likes, I've been able to at least, maybe support or help situations of many others that may need me. Because I know I've gone through series of my own, issues at the time, and it's no longer like that for me. And, today, to God be the glory, I can also help, whoever may be having a need for an assistance from me. So today I'm going to be talking through just a brief, that's just a brief recap about my own personal life. I don't want to talk too much on that, beyond that. So transitioning into an early career research scientist is the main topic that I want to talk through today. Because some of you are going to, I will see myself as also a research scientist, even though I work in the industry right now. Because I've gone through a graduate school of 10 years, non-stop 10 years of graduate education, beyond bachelor's degree. So you guys are going to be finishing your bachelor's degree now. Because for me, I went to 5 different institutions beyond this OOU that I finished for my first degree. I then proceeded to 5 different institutions with 5 additional degrees, from there. So I would say to you that whatever you're doing now, you can dream ahead, you can have possible goals that you can set for yourself, and I'm sure you can always achieve it. And finances can never be an hindrance to that. Because I never had money, but I still was able to achieve it. And during my time in grad school, I was paid salary. The school paid my tuition, and they still paid me salary. And I have so many students of mine, or mentees of mine, that are currently, some from this school, some from many other schools, even from Unilag as well, that are currently outside of the country as well, experiencing the same opportunity. So, can you proceed to the first slide? So I'm just going to quickly run through some of this information here. What you might face as a challenge, for some of you guys that are here right now, because the exposure I have had, I never had some of them while I was here. And for some of you, if you stayed in this country, you might not see some of those opportunities as well, or be exposed to some of those things. Except maybe you do exchange programs, because those things are possible, where you can do exchange programs, where you can go abroad, do part of your study, and then come back and apply the knowledge here. So I'm going to run through career growth advantage that you guys have as well, because the Fbms field, or basic medical science field, is a very broad one. We have the physiologists amidst us, we have biochemists amidst us, we have some of us that are probably science lab tech, like I had, nursing, and the likes. And how you can improve yourself, capacity building recommendation. I'll give you some recommendations, some pointers. I'm then going to talk through improving yourself in the field, and then, a part of my own, personal journey that I've shared with you, I'll probably just make a recap on that. So let's move to the next one. Next slide. So, generally what an early career scientist or research scientist is going to be by the time you're a graduate, the next 10 years of your life, if you're going to be practicing in the field of the basic medical sciences, you're going to be an early career scientist, okay? And what you do during that time matters a lot. Some of us are going to gather, we're going to gather additional education, whether from a master's program or PhD program. And some of you guys are going to, just keep on the experience. You might just be employed as a science lab, science lab technologist, or you can be employed as a biochemist in a particular industry, or even the academic institution. And then you continue your life from there. And then along the journey, I will still advise, if you're going to be going through that part, that you still gather additional education beyond the bachelor's degree. So at least to be able to expose you to more opportunities that you might not have achieved during your first degree. So the next 5-10 years of your life, even up to 15 years, for some of you, is going to be that you're going to be, building yourself to become a globally known research scientist, or a scientist, not even in the research area now, but a scientist in the basic medical sciences. And some of you are going to change paths. You might think all you're doing now is biochemistry, or all you're doing now is nursing. You might be changing routes, and the route might be because you've spoken to some mentors, and they are able to give you some high-opening opportunities beyond what you're studying now. Like for me, my own opportunity was, okay, I studied biochemistry, but when I was in 300 level, there was a course that I really loved called xenobiotics. Xenobiotics and toxicology are closely related. So if you look into that very course very well, for me, because it was one of the courses that I know I had an A in it, and I really, really enjoyed it. So when I was trying to get into master's program, I just thought of what else can I do that I can take to the highest part, in my journey or in my career path, and toxicology came in place. And I've taken toxicology to the highest position that I can take it, that I know that, for me to be American board certified toxicologist, I can tell to myself that I have done well, because it's the final degree or final certification you can take in anywhere in the world for someone who is a toxicologist. So let's move to the next slide. Yeah, so there are some challenges some of you are going to face. You're going to face challenges, and some of you might have a smooth sailing, journey all through your path without any worry. Because I have some of my people that we did biochemistry, and some were able to cross to medicine, and I have some of them made the journey, because I have some of my colleagues that we did biochemistry back then that are now even in Texas while I was doing my PhD, that are also doing their, they're doing their, what's it called now? We call it maybe house job or something for those that are probably studying medicine. And that's one part that I know that some people, we have a journey that is very smooth. And so for some of us, we may have some challenges. And if there are challenges, how do we navigate them? The first thing I would say is, if you're going to experience challenges, they are not to stop you. They are not to keep you off with the track. They are not supposed to keep you off whatever path you're taking in life and whatever goal that you have set for yourself. They're just supposed to be a motivation. Okay, every challenge is coming your way. Make them a motivation that there is something at the end of this journey that is, that one way or another, something is trying to hold you back from it. And all you can do is just to ensure that you beat that obstacle and get to the other side of it. So, a post-degree, so when you have this first degree, because I believe most of you guys are probably final year students, so when you have this first degree, what next? That will be next question many will be asking. Am I to continue in this part of, am I to continue in this part of biochemistry or nursing, or do I need to move to the next, do I need to move to a different course entirely? So I will say to you that whatever you want to do, let it be true to you that this is what I want to build my career in. Because for me, my job right now as a toxicologist, I work from home most times. I would say all the time. I work from home, and I can work from any part of the world, because as long as I have my computer, I can be able to access the information that I need to access and be able to provide a solution. And I currently work in a space where I know that if I have not gathered all of the education that I've gathered across the timeline, and all of the research experience that I've gathered across the timeline, I will not be able to find myself, where I am right now. And a lot of obstacles that, crossed my path at the, during that very time as well. So for me, I've had situations whereby professors will send me out of their lab. People that I'm working with, that I'm thinking, this is where I'm going to finish my degree. This is where I'm going to finish, my research and gather all the experience that I need to gather. I remember when I was in Ife, it was a great challenge for me to even, to be able to defend my project. And you will see a lot of these things coming your path, because some of you would, it might be an employment that you will get. You get an employment, And the employment might come in a way that your boss is the one that is going to be your greatest enemy. You might start really good, and then you find out that frustrations start coming in because you have bigger dreams than who your boss is. Same thing happened to me even when I was in Ife, during academic, my academic pursuits as well. So some of you are going to face some of these challenges. So in case you are asking yourself, what program do you want to do next? If you know that you're convinced within yourself that any course you're doing now is what you want to take further and take to the highest level, and then I would say just go for it. But if you're still in a situation whereby you're still doubting, do you want to be an anatomist? Do you want to be a physiologist or a nurse? Or you want to be a biochemist? Because even biochemistry by itself is so broad. By the time you want to go for a graduate program, you might see medical biochemistry. You might see all kinds of biochemistry that are out there that are beyond what you're doing right now. So I would say, just like Shalad said initially, you might need to speak or meet with some mentors, people that are already well exposed or that have been out there and they have seen life before you. You can talk to them, let them guide you as regards what is obtainable out there beyond just, okay, after school I want to go for NYSC, because it's not always NYSC after school for some people. I have my younger sister here that we came from the US as well. I know that at the time she wanted to go for NYSC as well, but because of the experience or the exposure of the older ones, she navigated directly from bachelor's degree. Now she's completing her PhD in Texas. So in a situation like that, some of you might just finish your bachelor's degree now and you get a PhD admission directly, because it's in Nigeria that we only, we try to do all of the stages where you finish a bachelor's degree, you go for master's, you go for PhD. Over there, you don't need that. Many of you guys will only need your bachelor's degree and you can become a doctor from there. And then, you get all scholarship being given, and then, things become different beyond just looking for NYSC. So, lack of support. So, lack of support from supervisors and lack of mentorship. And I think that's a very key part that some of you may have, that I would say try to seek more of that, because, the relationship with your supervisor, get mentors outside of your program that you can talk to. It might be alumni of this program. I'm alumni of this very faculty or this school. You might speak to them if there's a way, there's an interaction whereby the department has a way of connecting you guys to some of the alumni members of this school. I think it might help you to be able to, to navigate additional steps beyond what you're doing now. So there are situations whereby we have limited facilities, and then finding resources for research. I remember back in the day where, the way we conduct our research while we were in Kenya at the time, and the kind of animal models that we use to be able to conduct experiments. You might not have all of the resources right now, and it's not the end of the world. Even if you don't have all of the resources that you can use to compete globally, whatever you have right now, you can still make use of that, and then be able to package yourself in a way, like Shala talked about branding. You might be able to package yourself in a way that by the time you go for a master's degree program, then you can still be able to get all of the knowledge that you might be missing right now. You might be able to gather additional knowledge from there. Skills might be limited, and you can develop yourself in that. That's another limitation or challenge that I know people that are early career scientists, especially from countries like like ours, as compared to our peers that are outside of the world. Because some of you are going to travel, I believe, and you're going to see the experience and the huge difference you might see in some of the things you might be exposed to. And the foundation knowledge that you're going to gain from here is very key to that. Because if you don't have all of the basic knowledge from here, whether from all of the courses that you have taken, some of the research that you have taken, like for me, I did research with Dr. Daini back in the day on, what's it called now? I think we did something about camphor degrading petroleum contaminated bacteria at the time. And I know that some of the knowledge I used in the EPA as well. And when I did my interview with the US EPA headquarters in DC, I remember that when I was having the conversation, they were so surprised that we have some of this research done here. So I would say to you that whatever you're doing here is still never a waste of any kind, because you don't know where you're going to find yourself saying some things about the research you're doing, and there's some professors out there are going to be so interested in you. So no matter how limited some of these skills might be, you can also still kind of help yourself to get better. Also, I know in this environment we might be limited to data, and but then back then to now, there's a huge transition because Google is really our friend and it can help us to get as many information as possible. And I would say as well that resources are out there that some of you may not even know, may not be privy to, or rather than be on TikTok or rather than be on Instagram and the likes, there are a lot of resources that you can make use of, that you can use to kind of help yourself and kind of buffer whatsoever resume that you currently have as well. Coursera is a tool that you can use. Udemy is a tool you can use. There are a lot of tools out there that you can always get yourself access to get additional training. So I'm saying all of this to say that you're going to have lack of opportunities to collaboration, time management, lack of research culture, limited ethical standards. There are a lot of things that can cross your path that may be holding you back. But I'm just saying, I'm pointing all of these things out that you can always navigate them, irrespective of the situation, irrespective of whether your research is taking too long or there are no enough fund for you to be able to conduct the type of research that you want to do. The little you can do, I want to say that you give the best to it, so that at least you know that you give your best to it, and that way you go from there to the next phase, and whatever next phase you're going to, you probably you find a way out of that as well. And that's about that aspect of some of the challenges we may face as early career research scientists. Can we go to the next one? There are a lot of opportunities for you guys, and I think the reason why I believe there are a lot of opportunities for you guys is because many of you guys are going to be the majority of the workforce that are coming out of school, are fresh with a new knowledge, and you are trying to impact the body of knowledge. You are trying to come into the field of the basic medical sciences, and you're trying to bring your own individual knowledge that you have acquired in school and then contribute to the body of science. Improving science is very key, and is something that is ongoing, and many of you guys are needed out there. There's a there's the diversity in you guys, because right now we say it's basic medical science, but in that basic medical sciences, there are many of you guys with different courses. Nurses are here, science lab technologists are here, biochemists are here, physiologists and the likes are here. So there is that very diverse opportunity for you guys to be in that very field, such that many of you are needed one way or another, and some of you are going to divert into a different field entirely that is also still basic medical sciences, but are not courses that you are currently studying right now. So the fact that the body of the Fbms or the basic medical science field is also open to new solutions, because a lot of research are currently ongoing. It could be cancer research, it could be all kinds of exposure studies that are out there as well, that you guys may be able to contribute to, that may be helpful to advance that body of science. The field is very much open to that and open to new opportunities, and as a result of that, many of you guys are actually going to be needed in that very space. They believe many of you guys, for some of us that are already in the field, we believe that the young ones that are coming out, they are full of optimism and they are full of enthusiasm. Many of you are very energetic on the fact that you don't have much of a problem right now that you might see at a later time in life. There is, I believe many of you are probably still single. There is no one, probably having too many babies that you want to cater for. So I believe you have so much of your brain and energy to pursue your career to the point where you want to pursue it. So there is that optimism and enthusiasm that is needed from you guys for this very particular field. Hands-on role, like I said, some of you are going to get admission directly to go and study, for your PhD, beyond just doing masters. And it could be a master's program that you're going to be going for. And then some of you are going to be conducting studies on your own. This time around, for undergrad, some of you might be guided by so many of your colleagues or peers or your advisor. At that level, independence will start to come in. The independence of conducting research or conducting experiments will start to come in.
Recording in progress.
You will be the one to go and find information and be able to tell your professor about that information that you found and how you want to conduct the experiment. And at that very level, you're having a dialogue with your professors, or you're having a dialogue with your advisors on how you want your research to be. Most of it right now that you probably will be doing is your advisor guiding you, and they are giving you that template for you to then take further. And from that, majority have to be independent in some of the studies you have to be conducting, and so hands-on role is something that most of you guys will be needed for And I would say, whatever you're doing now, I try to get the best of that. Time availability, they know there's enough time on your hands, so getting job out there wouldn't be an issue. I understand that the limitation of the country is because we have very limited opportunities for some of us, or to cater for every one of us. So I would say, for some of us, while we stay national, I would say some of you guys should try and look beyond the shores of the country. It could be Europe, it could be any other place. Gather additional education or advanced education, bring it back home, and try to apply the knowledge, and that that makes you very relevant and stay very competitive. And you guys are the workforce majority, like I said, and it's very, very much needed. Let's go to the next slide. So, capacity building, my recommendations for capacity building. I would say you guys need to build yourself much more. And with the few things I'm going to say with respect to building yourself are going to be that you have to personally develop yourself. Nobody is going to develop you. The general knowledge you're all gathering here can only make you almost all equal. But if you want to stand out, you need to develop yourself personally. And there are a lot of ways to which you can develop yourself personally. It could be through mentorship. You could meet with any of the alumni members of this school who probably you look up to. Some of you might be on LinkedIn and you might have found out, okay, maybe so-so person is now the director of so-so place, and the first degree of the person is from this same school. You can communicate with them on LinkedIn and try to interact with them if they could be your mentor. Things like this. And there are a lot of also, I think we have a WhatsApp group for the alumni members of the OOU Fbms as well. Some of you could subscribe to that, and then you could meet up with other colleagues that are already on there. Like someone like me, you will see me share information about opportunities to maybe get a career or education outside of the country on such platforms. So I would say mentorship is a good thing, and then you have to plan yourself. You have to plan what type of career path you really want to go into. And if you want to plan it, whether to, beyond now, you want to get a job in the field and stay there and, build yourself with work experience, or you want to gather additional education, and I think that would be very helpful. So, advanced education and training. I'm big on this very one because I would want people to be very competitive, and I want you to stand out. I want you to stand out and make yourself very globally relevant. Is why I would always, advocate for an advanced degree. If you can get an advanced degree, outside of the country, within the country, but ensure it's very relevant and very globally competitive. So you can always get that done, and certifications, technical training, and the likes. Research skills is a very key part in basic medical science. Some of us will do research. Some of us may not even be a research scientist at the point in time, but we'll be a scientist there where we'll make decisions. Like for me, I don't do research anymore. I've done research for over, for 10 years that I don't do research anymore, and at the level to which I've taken my education, I only make decisions. So there are other people that will do the research for us. There are companies that will do the research. I can design the research. The companies will get the research done. I can interpret the result and make decisions based on that. So I would say try to develop your research skills. And my own research skill, span both from Olabisi Onabanjo University down to Ife, down to Unilag, down to Texas Tech, down to Tennessee State. It's a lot of long period of research experience that I know has helped me a lot, and I like to teach. Because I've been a teacher both in secondary school and at university level. I've taught students, I've taught master students, and I like to still teach till now. Even while I'm still working as a scientist, I just teach for leisure, just for fun, because it's something that I enjoy doing. So I would say gathering all these skills where you can be able to, conduct a good research or have a good analytical skill in your own head to be able to analyze things with respect to any field that you belong to, I think is very much going to be helpful. Some of us would need to write. Okay, your writing, your paper alone, just a publication can help you can pave a way for you beyond whatsoever you're doing now. Because I've known people whereby it is just their publication that professors outside of the country read, and they decide to sponsor them to come to their school, onto their lab, to be able to do additional study. And from that, it has, writing papers and publishing, high scholarly peer-reviewed journals can help you to be able to, collaborate, and can be able to, connect you with people beyond the shores of the country as well. And even within the country, some professors might just be interested in your article, and as a result of that, you may have opportunity to study for free. I studied for free, 3 different universities outside of the country, or 3 different programs out of the country, all paid for. So I would say opportunities that can cross your path would be that, it might just be from your research articles, some professors, or some of you might be the one to even send your paper out there. So because I remember while I was in my undergrad year, I never published a paper. Until date, I put up the article and I'm still trying to publish it. Reason why I'm saying that to say is this. Some of you guys now are privy to opportunities to publish your papers while you're still here. I never knew about publication until I was in my master's program. But then, some of you are now open to some of these opportunities to know that actually whatever research you're doing in your final year, you can put up a write-up from that and then submit it to a journal body and then have your paper published. And that can pave a long way for you. Whether you are going to be applying for a master's program or applying for a PhD and you're writing your statement of purpose, it will be a good thing to say, I have published some of the studies that I've done in my undergrad. It's an added advantage to your statement of purpose or letter of intent whenever you're trying to apply for opportunities outside of the country. So, your writing skills is always very important for you to be able to know that you can actually write a good article for it to be published. And then I would say, engage yourself. You need to get yourself in an engagement forum. It could be, you can be part of a society, both home and abroad. Because I have people that are undergrad students here and I've connected them to societies that are outside of the country, and then you will see these societies, if they see that you have a good abstract for whatever study you are doing right now, they will pay you for you to come over to the place. All your flights, your hotel, everything they will pay for you to come over to come and present some of these studies outside of the country. And by the time you come there, you will see other scientists from other parts of the world that you can collaborate with, and some of them will come to your poster. Just poster you're coming to present, they will pay all of these bills for you to come down, and then you will meet with some professors out there that will be interested in your study. And from there, you might just find connection that will say, when you're done with your undergrad, you can come for your master's program. So I would say, try as much as possible to engage in some of these places, either through publication or presentation. And some other skills that you also need to gather will be to have a problem-solving skill, to have a critical thinking skill as well. Can we go to the next slide? Okay, so and I think to wrap it up in my own way so that I can have interaction with some of you guys and ask, whatever questions you may be facing, whatever questions that you probably have on your mind before now. For me, I think majorly I want to just come here and then interact with you guys, because some of you might have questions that might be running through your mind beyond when I finished undergrad, then what next? Okay, what next could be that somebody does need to point you in one direction, and before you know it, the rest is going to be history. So for me, education is a very good thing, and I know that because of the situation of things in my family that I needed to turn around in one way or another, I knew that education would be a good route for that. So, and I know that the young ones of today, in my own time, there wasn't any big deal about people doing all kinds of fraudulent things. And I know these days there's a lot of competition. I miss you guys because you can see your peers that are driving this car or driving that car through other means that they probably have gone through. You don't need to go through that route. You can live a better life, a more comfortable life, if you probably pursue your education to the greatest height possible. So I would say, with my own personal life going through this route of education, it has paved ways for me, and I've sat in the midst of people that are top leaders in the very field of basic medical sciences, but in this case, a toxicologist. And at the same time, I've had a series of research opportunities to get done. And all of these research opportunities, either from the US Department of Agriculture, which I did my first PhD, research in. It was funded by the USDA, and at that point in time, the research being funded by them paid my salary as well. So while I was a student, if you can pursue it, I would say pursue it, irrespective of any obstacle that you may have on your path. So, education is very key. Whatsoever, I would say, try to get the best out of whatever you study now. And then secondly, I would say to you that if you're going to Okay. In terms of research accomplishment, like I was saying initially, that I did my own research funded by all kinds of organizations in the US, and I know some of you guys are going to go that route as well, and some of you, even while you're here, because I have colleagues that are here, that have gotten funding from different bodies outside of the country to be able to conduct their study out here as well. So I would say it's a good thing when you have opportunities to have research done that is being funded because you're being recognized, or whatever study that whatever study you're doing, if it's being funded by an external body, it's just a recognition that you're doing something good. You're contributing to knowledge, you're contributing newly to science, and whatever you're contributing to is recognized by external bodies outside of the country. And I would say, for me, I have gathered additional, I have research articles that I have published on my own with over 200 citations by itself, that I can tell that with those by itself, if anyone sees my resume, because when I was like you, I have a one-page resume, or probably a one-page or a two-page CV at the time. If you probably see my CV today, it's quite over 20 pages, because it's just the exposure, all of the training, and all of those things that you probably gather along the way. So you're becoming an early career scientist. That journey is going to take you through a lot of parts. Whether it's the research you're going to be doing, whether it's the teaching, even my teaching of secondary school students and all of the achievement from the teaching, I still package it in my resume. And that in itself can help some of you guys, because by the time you get scholarship to probably study somewhere, they might ask you to become a teaching assistant for some of the students that are undergrad while you're running your own master's program. And that knowledge can also be very, very helpful. If there's a certification, like I said, for any field that you belong to, for science lab technologies, there's always a certification or a training that goes beyond your bachelor's degree for you to be able to gather additional information or gather additional training that makes you competitive when you're out there. And I can tell you, for those of you that are studying science lab tech, it's a very high sought after degree in the US. I'm not saying you have to leave the country, but I'm saying to you that for some of you that are still studying that science or medical lab tech, it's a very high sought after field for some of you that probably want to study or have your career outside of the country as well. Training. The training you're going to receive, whether leadership training that you might go for, whether those ones you might find online, postdoctoral training for those of you that probably would fit, go through the route of a doctoral degree program, and then you will have all of these opportunities to, to help yourself to be able to become much more globally relevant and much more competitive. And any skill you are going to learn, because when I was in biochemistry, there are some skills we learned while we were here with some of the instrumentations. Some of you might need some of these skills beyond the shores of this country to be able to go for, further in life. So I would say whatever skill you're learning, any of the laboratory experiments that you're taking and any of the experiments you're doing, I would say try as much as possible to make use of that. And I think the last slide will then go from here. Can we see the last slide? Okay. With all of this information that I'm putting up here, for some of you that may want to write it down, I would say one way to improve yourself in the field, if it is one or two of these qualities you want to put together, I would say try as much as possible to put it together. Whether it's an advanced education you want to gather knowledge in, whether you want to go for more research training, I would say try and get that done. You want to demonstrate yourself as having high understanding of high quality study. Some of you may need to write good papers to be able to get yourself out there. Opportunity you can find yourself in, but I would say with any of this information in terms of helping and improving yourself, I would say, and this slide definitely might be shared with whoever might be interested in any of the information out there. If you're not able to get the information all at once, I would say this slide will be shared with you guys, so at least you can be able to make use of the slide beyond now, in case you want to have access to the information on there beyond the meeting of today. And so with that, I would say I've come to the end of my talk so that I can have a dialogue with some of the students. Thank you.
Please can we put our hands together again? That was a beautiful presentation. Thank you so much, Mr. Omar. Thank you. I know some people might be looking at me like, who is this person? Don't worry, still your host. I just want to hear something in my head. All right. So, I want to ask, I know some of us will have questions. So we're taking just 3 persons. So please, can you raise your hand or write it somewhere? Okay, 1, can you come outside please? Yes, please. You and the other woman there. Oh. Please, can you hear me give me the mic? Thank you. Switch on.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good morning, everyone. I'm Jesse by name. I'm the forensic science student of Olabisi Onabanjo University, a 200 level student. My question goes to us. So, regarding to the career path, so according to the doctor that just enlightened us on now, is it my question goes to us. How can the forensic science explore the field in the field of study and also get scholarship after BSc degree? My question goes to us again. How can the forensic science explore a field and a field of study and also to get a scholarship in the BSc degree? So, question 2. How can you balance a field of academic excellence with your skill of qualification for self-development?
That's all.
So, as a forensic scientist, opportunities that I feel or that I believe that you can explore. Because while I was doing my own, toxicology at the Institute of Environmental Health Sciences, Texas Tech University, we had both the environmental toxicology and we have the forensic toxicology arm. And most people with forensic science knowledge, if they are coming into master's program, they tend to do that forensic toxicology. So forensics by itself, there is the forensic pathology, there is forensic toxicology. I find toxicology interesting more than pathology. So for some of you might be interested in channeling your energy towards a forensic route, I would say, in my own case, you probably, if you're someone that is probably dear to me, I would say you go the route of a forensic toxicology over a forensic pathology. So as the case may be, whichever one that you feel is more interesting to you based on the courses you're doing right now, you might be able to channel your energy towards anyone that you feel much more comfortable towards. So forensic toxicology, and then by the time you're finishing with any of that, there are a lot of certifications as well. There's a diplomat of the Board of Forensic Science that you can also take additional training on, and then take the exams and get that certification to distinguish yourself. And that will be my answer to that one.
Thank you very much. Please, can you?
I think there was a second question. He asked the second question, but I can't remember.
I cannot get it. But this is a familiar one. Also a forensic science student. So he said, forensic science is just introduced into Nigeria, especially in OU here. So it's like, what career path can he follow? The person is quite confused, so he can just...
Okay, just like I said, so forensic science is general, right? But there is forensics that are now being specialized. By the time you're going for master's PhD program, you're definitely going to be channeling yourself and becoming more specialized. And it could be forensic pathology, like
recording
I said,
in progress.
Forensic toxicology as it is. So depending on how you want to be, you can take forensic science going forward. You can, along with forensic science, then you can, decide to take a certification that can, that can make you much more specialized in that area as well. So I would say, as a forensic scientist, if the field is limited around here, you want to gather additional education outside of the country, you can get that done. I would say that even here in Nigeria, if you want to work for, either any of the armed forces that we have around here, if not to a good extent, the knowledge is not known out there within the environment here, I would say we can, as well, whatever research you're going to be doing, you can help that to advocate and be able to have the information passed across to the body that will be needing your services out there. So, say for example, we have the police, the armed forces of our own country. You can collaborate with them, just like forensic scientists out there or over there in the US, for example. In my own department, You will see them collaborate with the FBI. You see them collaborate with the police force. The same thing here. You can do the same thing. So even if the police force here don't have that knowledge of what forensic science is, you can communicate with them. You can have advocacy with them. You can even bring them here and have a symposium like this so that they can be aware of what you guys are doing and how you guys can collaborate with them and work with them going forward.
Thank you very much, sir.
Good day everyone, my name is Oluwatomiwa. I'm a 200 level physiology student, and it's so disheartening that I hear almost every time that physiologists don't have job opportunities in Nigeria. They keep saying that medicine students are already studying or they already have prior knowledge of what physiologists are doing, and so therefore when you graduate from physiology it's a waste of time. You know, it's so disheartening, and I'm like, hope I'm not wasting my time for these 4 years. It's so precious and I can't just afford. Should I move away? What should I do? So is it that physiologists, are we wasting our time? Are there really job opportunities for us here in Nigeria, not even abroad now, at least in our own land? Can we graduate and work and have a better future?
Alright. I felt like this lady spoke the heart of almost everybody in this room, right? Okay, don't worry, you get an answer right now. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay. So when I finished biochemistry, I wanted to go for medicine, right? I wanted to go back to medicine, but I was given physiology. But as young as I was then, I told myself that that's not what I wanted for myself. I didn't want to become a physiologist. And then I decided to just, forget about the admission that was given to me, Uniben and UI at the time. I will say to you, whatever you're studying as a physiologist doesn't mean you have to stay a physiologist if you don't want to stay. Okay? Anybody here, no matter how any course you're studying right now, if you want to navigate a different route, I would tell you right now, public health is a general thing for every one of you. Any of you here right now, in terms of, I'm going to go through the career path first, but I want to go through the education because the education is one thing that I'm very passionate about. So I would say, if you're going to go for a master's degree at all, public health could be one way for you guys to navigate a different route. I want to believe many of you that are trying to study physiology, or that are studying physiology now, a good number wanted to study medicine. And because we didn't get medicine, we got into something different. But you can still study medicine if you still have the passion. So, for physiologists right here, right now, some of you might just be that you get a master's that is for public health, and you are out there, and even from here, you can write MCAT. Some of you can write MCAT and join med school outside of the country. And then if you don't want to do medicine here, you can get it out of the country and it to be paid for. So there's something we call MD PhD. For many of you guys, it might be an advantage for you. So an MD PhD program is such that you get a PhD and you get a medical degree alongside. And with that, they can fund you, they will pay your tuition, and they will pay you salary to be able to study it. Many of you are the ones paying right now. Over there, they will pay you to do it. So I'm saying that to say for physiologists that are here, if you want to go the route of education to go further into anything that you initially wanted to study, whether it's medicine, you can still go for it. You can use the route of public health to go out of there, go out of it, and you can do MD PhD to be able to get out of it as well. But physiology by itself in this country, yes, you're right. Medical doctors understand that program very well, or they understand the course. And because the way the country is structured in a way that there's no diversity that much in the area of your specialization. So I would say, if you want to navigate out of it, or you want to garner additional education that might be around it, and make yourself diverse. Because the physiology knowledge is never going to be a waste right now. You're still going to need it, one way or another. So if you take physiology to study toxicology, for example, you can take that physiology to study, to become a public health. You can take that same physiology to become a biologist, because many of you will be needed for US EPA, US FDA, and the likes. And if you want to take the knowledge back home, you will also be relevant as well, because now you have a broader knowledge of understanding beyond just physiology, but areas of applied physiology that you can also use it for. So I would say, just open your knowledge or open yourself to the opportunities that are out there of applied areas of physiology beyond just physiology by itself.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Can we give him a round of applause, please? Okay, please be fast.
Good day, sir. My name is Oladipo Barakat, 400 level biochemistry student. my question is, they said studying abroad is quite competitive, and you make mention of publication, articles, journals. Aside that, what else can make someone stand out while applying scholarship abroad?
Okay. A key part of it is this. So, if you have people that can mentor you or guide you, if you understand, if you know people that can guide you through the process, I think it can be of good help. But personally, how you can stand out, besides, because not everyone is going to publish before you travel. I don't think I had a publication even before I got scholarship. So I wouldn't say publication would just be the only thing. But it could be a helping tool for you to get someone that would just be interested in that publication and tell you to come over. Some of it might just be that some of the studies you're doing in your research you're doing right now, you might need to put up an abstract together and submit it to some organizations that are out there, societies that are out there. Like I belong to the Society of Toxicology, and they sponsor a lot of undergrad from other developing countries to come and present their study out there. And from there, your presentation, you might eventually find a professor that will just be interested in you. So if you are doing studies in biochemistry that have to do with, you are exposing something to something that has to do with causing diabetics and the likes, and you're trying to cure something. Some of these things are very toxicology related, and by the time you join Society of Toxicology or American Board of Toxicology, or you can join societies like Society of Environmental Toxicology and Chemistry, there are loads of, even American Chemical Society. There are, a lot of these, we have many of these societies that are out there that can help you to be able to find yourself out there in terms of, improving what your resume is. But generally, your GPA is very, very basic to any opportunity that you want to get out there. If you want to go for an advanced degree, like in the US, for example, the minimum is a 3.0 GPA out of 4.0. And a 3.0 GPA out of 4.0 is probably equivalent to about 3.3, 3.4 in Nigeria GPA. So that means that you don't have to be a first class holder for you to be out there. You don't need to be a first class holder, you don't need to have 5.0, you don't need to have 4.5. With a 3.3, 3.35, if you're not there yet, you can still, you can still find your way out there. And if not, there are other exams you can take to help with that. There's an exam called Graduate Record Examination, GRE. I wrote GRE 3 times for me to be able to get scholarship as well. Some of you might need to write some of these exams, and you'll be able to, these exams can be able to help you to be able to get opportunities that you may be looking out for, and be able to, stand you out whenever you're applying to schools outside of the country as well. So I would say taking exams are opportunities, writing good papers might be an opportunity. It might be presentation of some of your work outside of the country that might be of help. So no one thing, I think it's a general thing that you need to put together. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I know that we all have a lot of questions, but time is really against us. We will not take many of them, but we are going to give you his email so that you can reach out to him. Okay, so you can check the email droma@yahoo.com. I'll take that again, droma@yahoo.com. So, did you get it? Okay, Dr. Omar, O-M-A, D-O-C-T-O-R, full doctor now. Dr. O-M-A @yahoo.com. Thank you very much. Please, can we give him another round of applause? That's a very long one. I'm so sorry, we won't be able to take your questions. So, we are moving on to the third presentation. Yes. And that one is writing a compelling CV and cover letter. Writing a compelling CV and cover letter. And that will be done by Dr. Taiwo Abayomi Banjo. So can we clap as we welcome him on stage? I know we are getting tired, but can you...
On writing a compelling CV and cover letter. These are my outlines. I want to consider the right career for you. Winning job applications, creating a lasting impression. An essential steps for winning CVs, types of CVs, cover letters, help from career centers and reference books. Most students from African nations seems to be confused especially when you are fortunate to have been engaged in a course of study that is not their passion. They look confused. They look at the economic situation in the country, they are confused. They look at the future prospects of their career, they are confused. But I'm here to give you a good news that when you understand the skill of writing a compelling CV and resume, it's going to be a gateway ticket for you to explore your opportunities all over the world. This presentation is driven by demands in the industries. So we talk about industry partners and to see how we look for what they are looking for in their candidates. And also we'll be able to explain to you how to design and develop your CV and cover letters. Okay. I have 25 minutes, but what I need to present to us is more than 25 minutes, but I'm going to compress it. So if there's need for any additional information, that may be done after the presentation. There's need for you to overcome worries about getting substantial experience, thinking about your strengths, about your weaknesses, and finding out jobs that are available. Majority of us may believe, oh, jobs are not there. A lady just asked about physiology. Do we have a good prospect? Is there a possibility of having a good job? I can tell you the answer is yes. We also want to consider today how to decide to make good decisions and to take time for action in applying for a good job. Work experience and skills that you have acquired over time is also very important when you're looking for a very good job. Because without a good job, without a vacancy, it's not possible for you to say you want to write a compelling CV and you also want to write a cover letter. But I wish to let you understand that CV writing and cover letter, they are an integral part of what you require for you to land the best job you may desire. And I also want to let you understand that having studied in this part of the world, you have the privilege to be able to travel to any part of the world and continue with your studies or explore opportunities that are there. It's all about finding out, getting it, and applying for it. But it's interesting also for you to know that when you're applying for a job, there are several thousands of individuals that are competing with you, either for a slot. So how do you write a CV that will stand out in the midst of thousands of CV so that you are qualified to go for the interview and thereafter you get. Certain things are very crucial if you really want to write a very good CV. But the first thing is for you to do what we call the research of the company or the organization where you aspire to work. You also need to find out the institution or the organization where I aspire to work. You need to find out, are they large multinational or just smaller companies? Because large multinationals, most of the time, they start recruiting in autumn. But the start date is always in summer. But this is quite different from smaller companies whereby the start date is very close to recruitment date. So based on that, you need to understand how soon and how urgent it is for you to place your application. Majority of applications, well-written CVs and resumes fail to get a job because they were sent in late. Now, our interest in this presentation is on how you can get a winning job application. There are many things you need to have in mind. First of all, you need to understand which part of the world do you want to work. Is it in Europe? Is it US? Is it Australia? And I can tell you, in as much as you've gotten your degree, you can get it done. First of all, you need to target a successful application right from the beginning to the interview. To do that, you need to write a very clear and professional application. And that entails you getting to understand the content of the vacancy that is advertised. Then to tailor it to your CV and also the cover letter. At the application stage, you are required to provide information on your competence, evidence of leadership, teamwork, self-reliance, motivation, enthusiasm. These are things that your potential employers are looking for. But if they are lacking in your CV, I doubt if you get a job. An employer will employ the service of human resource manager to study your CV, to study your resume, or to study your cover letter. And based on the outcome, then they will decide who will be given the opportunity to come for an interview. So at times you need to understand that apart from writing cover letter or CV or resume, whichever may be, some companies may require online application. But you need to know, why am I writing a CV? The CV is a paper document that represents you, what you have achieved by you demonstrating your skill, your competence, and experience, meeting the requirement of the potential employer. If your skills, your competence, and experience does not match, then you are not likely to get a job. But I need to challenge you, because for you to get that top job, you need to have an understanding and to have in your mind the spirit of a winner. You need to have that. We've had renowned Nigerians having top-notch jobs all over the world. Okonjo-Iweala, Femi Adesina, and a lot of others. There are certain tricks that they employed, and I will disclose that to you. It is also crucial for you to answer some questions during your job application. You need to be honest, you need to be clear, you need to be concise, because employers do not have time to waste reading through long documents. So it's not the length of your CV or resume or cover letter that will determine if you'll be successful. It may be summarized and concise, hits the point, and you get the answer. Unfortunately, there are most cases of rejections that are due to unconvincing explanation as to why you want that job. Most of the time, you apply for a job in Europe, you apply for a job maybe in the US, feel that, oh, why am I not given the job? Because you have an unconvincing explanation in your CV, cover letter, or resume as regard your role or your understanding of the role in that job. Another thing we want to consider before we go straight into the CV writing and the resume, creating a lasting impression. Don't allow your complexion to make you feel inferior and say, oh, I'm in the white, I want to apply to a job in Europe or in America. I don't think I'm competent enough. No, that is not right. You must never accept no for an answer. What you need to know is to understand what is required of you to write a very good CV and to write a good cover letter. I can assure you, you will get the job. Now, let's move on. Let's look at things that you need to consider. First of all, you need to target graduate job opportunities. I want to assume majority of us are graduates, or you are students to graduate very soon and you want to look for a job. And because of the existing financial situation in the country, majority want to feel or have or explore opportunities offshore. I think that's the right step to take. Now, you need to be innovative. Think long term. You want a job when you graduate. I want to assure you, you don't need to wait until your graduation day before you begin to think of job. You can begin the process now. What you need to do, look at great mentors, great achievers in your field of specialization. What makes them better than their contemporaries? Study their biographies and look at things you can learn from them and take a step from there. I've said it, you need to be innovative, think long, strategic, and look at innovative companies with good chance of future success. Never you just apply to a company because you want a job abroad or you want a job somewhere without looking at the future prospect and looking at your own future. As graduate, there's need for you to target working for successful organizations with signals of opportunities for development, promotion, and job security. These are essential things you need to look for before you decide you want to apply for a job in a country or for a job in an organization. Majority of youths, especially young graduates, above 70% of them, they prefer to relocate abroad to get better job. Most people also look at robustness of the salary before they apply for job. So another thing that is important before you look into how we write a CV is look at what make up your job experience, your work experience count. You need to be professional, realistic, to build relationship, keep track of your skills, and remember, it is always a learning process. Have the mindset of a winner. Winners don't make excuses. They outwork others. They embrace hard work. So now, let's look at cover letter and resume. There's a difference between cover letter and resume. And there's a difference between resume and a CV. Now, when you look at the cover letter, it's a formal one-page document that you submit along with your CV when you're applying for a job. A good cover letter will demonstrate why you are an ideal candidate for the job. Remember, several thousand of individuals are applying for the same job. You want to convince the hiring manager that you are the best for the job. So therefore, certain vital information are essential in your cover letter. So in the cover letter, you also provide your qualification, your skill, and experience. The purpose of the cover letter is to introduce you formally to the company. You are introducing yourself, and you are providing content for your application and explaining why you are a good fit for the job. But on the other way around, we have a resume. The resume is a document created and used by persons to present their background, their skill, and accomplishment. Your resume can be used for a variety of reasons. Maybe you want to get a job. But unlike a resume, the CV, most of the time, especially academic CV, there is no limit to the number of pages. But in a resume, you just need a 2-page document. So let's move further. Here, I've shown us an example of a resume, the next page. A cover letter. In the cover letter, you have your name, you have your address, You have the phone number and the email on top. Then you put the date. Then you address it to the hiring manager. You need to find out precisely who is in charge of the employment in that organization. So if you address it wrongly, it is believed that you have not made a thorough investigation, research, and understanding of that organization. So you are disqualified. So apart from that, you also need to know there are stages, different steps when you are writing the cover letter. First of all, you have the title of the cover letter, the title of the position you are requesting. I have it in the second example. Then you need to indicate where you got that advertisement. At the same time, you now need to indicate what particular job specification you are interested in. Look at the second one, please. No, let me see. Look at page. Yeah. So look at the title. You can see the division. You have your details. That is your name. You have your address, your phone number and email, and the date of the application. It's very important in the cover letter. Then the details of your potential employer or who is recruiting. You have the title of the recruiter, the name of the organization, and also you have the organization's address. Then the title. You are applying for the role of maybe a physician in the organization. You need to indicate where you got that advertisement. Is it online? Is it from Glassdoor? You just mention it. But preferably, if you are referred by a staff, an existing staff in that organization, maybe it's your relation or your friend that have been working there and is referring you, then you stand a higher chance of getting the job. Because if that friend or that individual that gave you that information, if he or she has a good standing and good reputation in that organization, then you have a better chance. Remember, the essence of this cover letter and CV is for you to outsmart others that are competing for the same role. So, the next thing you do, to whom is that letter to be addressed? Is it Professor Wole Soyinka or Professor John Simon? You have to indicate it. But if you make a mistake putting a wrong individual's name, then they believed you've not done enough research concerning that organization, then you've not studied that vacancy properly, and they disqualify you. I've told you we have almost 3 or 4 paragraphs in a good cover letter. The first paragraph, that's the introduction, in which you indicate how you got the application advertised and why you are applying, the role you are applying for. Then the next one, the middle, you are telling us about what you are, what you have achieved, and what you are likely to achieve in that organization. Then the last one is for you to end it by thanking them for giving you that privilege to have your resume read. It's not everybody that applied that will have the opportunity of having his resume read. So you have to thank them in advance. Thank you for reading my resume. Thank you for considering my application. And I look forward to a favorable response from you. In case you wish to contact me for further progress, that is inviting you for an interview, then you indicate your email, your phone number, where you could be contacted. Then, yours sincerely. Assuming you put the name of the person whom is addressed, then it will be yours sincerely. But if you don't have the name, assuming you wrote Dear Sir or Dear Ma, it should be yours faithfully. Then your name and signature. So there are diverse ways of writing resume. There are diverse ways of writing cover letter. cover letter must accompany your CV. So now, further. Now, if you look at CV, it depends on the purpose. For instance, maybe you're applying for a job, industrial, then you'll be using a resume because it's a 2-page document. But if you're applying maybe for academic job, or you're looking for scholarship to study abroad, or you are looking for grant, then you'll be writing an academic CV. So there's difference between the two. The content matters. So now, if you look at CV generally, you have your name. You don't need to put curriculum vitae. You don't need to put it as a title. Gone are those days when you do that. But what you do, just put your name, then your address, your phone number, and email. If you're applying from Nigeria or some part of Africa, and you know that area is maybe a local environment or an environment where they are notorious in quote, they don't put the address. Maybe Mushioloja, for instance, don't put the address. Just put Nigeria. Because the individual that's going through your CV will have gone through your social profile and discovered people in this environment, they are notorious. Do we want to employ him in our employment? He said no. You have written a good CV, but that factor has disqualified you. So I'm not saying you should lie about your address. You can just omit that and just put Nigeria. Okay, the next thing, I need to rush it. We have different types of resume. Except you are requested to do that, don't put your passport photograph. Especially in case you are applying to countries where form of racial features. So just ignore that. Don't put your age, don't put the gender, just ignore it and go straight. So when you immediately on name and address and email, you have career objectives. If you are writing a resume, you put objective. But if you are writing a CV, academic CV, you put your summary. So let me quickly move now, because of time, please. Now, your CV should not be overburdened with graphical illustrations, because there are software that will sweep and try as much as possible. So what are those things that are involved, that are important in the CV? When you look at the job description in the advertisement, you need to make sure you search for the job description in the advertisement. Make sure vital keywords in those job description. From where you saw the advert, make sure you find those keywords in your CV. Because the software that will be used will be searching for that keyword in your application. So if those keywords are not there, then you can bet it your CV will not be considered for further processing. I also want to let you know that by the time you are using several different graphical illustrations, the software will not be able to pick it, and automatically you are disqualified. Let's quickly summarize and see what is essential in a CV. Remember, the difference between CV and a resume is just the number of pages, the volume, and the intention. So now the first thing is for you to do a research. Assuming you need a job in Nestle in the United Kingdom, what you need to do, take your time to research that company. Look at the company, look at their job, look at their mission and vision, and what are the challenges the company is facing. Then Google it and look for other companies that are competitors to them. Have they been able to solve that kind of problem they are having? Then from there, then you can now write and in your application, try to indicate how you can help solve their problem, and you see you get a job. So doing the research is very important, and make sure that your skills, your experience are very much in line with what they request. So it's not every job vacancy that you need to apply for, especially when your qualification or when your work experience does not match. But if it matches, then you can go ahead. Then let's quickly look at content. I know I have 5 minutes. Now, you need to ensure that you provide proper content. And what are those contents? You need to provide your personal details, your educational background, your work experience, your specific skills, interests, soft skills, hard skills must be provided. Most of the time, certain aspects of the CV are being ignored. For instance, where you are mentioning hobbies, maybe playing football, sporting, those are very important because it tells your recruiter that you are active, you are not handicapped. Then apart from that, your CV must be well written on a 2-page document on a quality paper. Make sure it's well structured, make sure it's consistent, and try as much as possible to avoid spelling and grammatical errors. So when you write a CV and you want to apply, don't just write the CV today and say you are applying today. No, you won't get a job. Write the CV and the resume or the cover letter, go through it today, tomorrow, look through it again, then allow your supervisor to go through it. Or if you are privileged to have human resources managers, let them go through it for you. There are some software that may be helpful that you can also use. Now, you need to complete the CV writing on time and submit before the deadline. What if you have a very good, compelling CV, but the submission was late? Then you might lose that job. Then there's need for you to seek help and to look for valuable information where necessary, maybe from career or recruitment agents, from the university. But never you say you want to try an agent online. It may fail you. I've seen instances whereby an individual, a well-to-do Nigerian, decided he was traveling to one of the Asian countries, I won't mention the name, and he sold most of his properties and he went there because they told him they're going to give him a career job. Unfortunately, he got to that country, he got his passport, then the agent requested of him your passport because the visa was on it. He collected it, and the next thing he did was to give him a wheelbarrow and said, please, you'll be shuttling between here and there and trying to offload certain things. The guy was upset and disappointed that this was not what I applied for. But do you want to question the agent? This is a courier service, delivery from one point to the other. And that was when and how he was disappointed. But if you know how to write a very good CV, a compelling CV and cover letter, you can as well look for certain agents and certain online companies that can offer you good jobs. And from there, you have control of your life and your future. For instance, we have a lot of them. We have Scholars Ideas, you have Glassdoor.com, you have CV Library, you have Researchers Job, and many other sites whereby you can subscribe and you specify the type of job you need, and upon availability, they will send a notice to your email. And when you do that, I can tell you there are lots of opportunities outside of this country. Who says you should not jabber when there are opportunities outside? Yes, don't limit yourself, don't limit your destiny. The earth is the Lord and the fullness thereof. So you are entitled to resources in other parts of the world. What you need to do is to take the bold step and apply. But what you need is get the right CV and get the right cover letter, apply on time. But one more thing before I round up. The names of who you have as your referees are very important. If you have, for instance, let's assume a well-known figure in the world, Okonjo-Iweala, is one of your referees, I can bet you, you will never lose that job. So who is among the list of your references matters a lot. So if you indicate an individual that is not well known, I doubt if you get a job. So at the end of your CV, you need to sign. There's a need for you to append your signature to show that everything you put there is intact and correct. It's quite unfortunate I don't have enough time to give you the details of what I have here for you, but I can assure you with the quality assurance unit of the faculty and the department, I think we are going to have a career unit where before you get to your final year, we'll try to teach you how to write CV, resume, or cover letter, and at the same time, we'll see how we connect you to networks outside of the country. Lastly, you need to understand that most of these job opportunities, majority are not advertised. And even when they are advertised, I can assure you, there are insiders that have somebody they've already recommended. So there's need for you to have a good mentor, to have individuals that can connect you. Our keynote speaker, our special guest, is also one of the individuals that have volunteered to do that for me. I thank God for the privilege He has given me to have studied in 2 best universities in the United Kingdom, and I know how it is done. So please, try as much as possible, believe in God, believe in yourself, don't limit yourself. The sky is not even the limit. I wish you all the best.
Don't worry, all the materials presented will be forwarded to your class group. So, all right. We'd like to recognize the presence of some of our lecturers on seat. They actually stepped in while the lectures was going. Dr. Orion Folari, we appreciate your presence. Can we please give them applause? Dr. Taiwo Oladokas, we appreciate you. The head of Department of Anatomy, Dr. Kayode Odudala, we appreciate you likewise. Also, we have on seat also some of the representatives from Seagreen. They are now on seat. We appreciate you. Thank you very much. The next presentation is that from the Seagreen Pharmaceutical representative. So can we have your presentation? Can we applaud them? Can we applaud?
Good afternoon, everyone. Yeah, I'm from Seagreen Pharmaceuticals Limited. We market and distribute drugs in Nigeria. But today, I just want to talk about just one growing major concern amongst our young women, which is vaginal infection. Sorry, so I won't take much of your time though. Most of our young women don't even know they have vaginal infections. You see, that odor that you're perceiving down there is not normal. That itching that you are feeling down there is not normal. So, and there are 3 main types of this vaginitis here. We have bacterial vaginosis, we have a candidiasis, which is called yeast infection, and we have trichomoniasis. So those are the 3 main types of vaginitis that we have. And for their treatment here, most times we use a metronidazole, which is like a Flagyl, and clotrimazole. But we have a product here that has clotrimazole, the Flagyl, and one other ingredient which is called lactobacillus. So I'll just talk briefly on that lactobacillus. In your vagina here, it's like an environment where there are other like bacteria there. We have the good bacteria and we have the bad bacteria. Yeast is always in your vagina and some other bacteria. So like the main reason we have infection in your vagina is when there is an overgrowth of some of the bad and also the good bacteria. Yeah, so we have this ingredient. This it's called lactobacillus. It helps to restore the normal flora of the vagina. When I say flora, I mean the normal environment of your vagina, which is why some flyers were sent around. The name of the drug is called clovinal. It has clotrimazole, metronidazole, and lactobacillus. The clotrimazole would then treat all the trichomoniasis. Then the metronidazole, that's the flagell. That one will treat your bacterial vaginosis and the likes. So the main purpose of the lactobacillus, this is why this product is one of the most sought out products for women. I don't know if most of you are already sexually active, or I don't know, but like I don't know actually. So if you are like having a discharged or itching or foul smell, I would advise you to go for a smell test. Then if you have gotten the result, then I think they would actually prescribe clovinal to you. It's called clovinal. It has clotrimazole, metronidazole, and lactobacillus. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir, for that. Okay, so we are gradually coming to the end of this beautiful meeting. I don't understand the clap. Is it that you want to go home or what? Okay, alright, don't worry, we're done, yeah. Okay, so I want you to please clap your hands again for every of the speakers. They've done an amazing job. They have done an amazing job. So please, I'm going to take the emails of most of them again so that you reach out to them for your questions to get answers. Are we with me? So for the first speaker, Dr. Shola Ojewumi, this is his email, oyeshola16@yahoo.com. I'll go again. For Dr. Shola Ojewumi, the one who spoke on navigating career path through personal brand in the first presentation. So here is his email, oyeshola16@yahoo.com. For the second speaker, Dr. Shola Awayemi, who happens to be Dr. Omar. So here is his email, Dr. DOCTOR Omar@yahoo.com. Are we with me? Dr. Omar@yahoo.com. So I want to introduce the chairperson of this occasion in person of Dr. M.M. Adenoju for the vote of thanks. Please, can you please stand up? Please, celebrate her. Please, can you celebrate her? Please, can you clap your hands? Thank you very, 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 very much. You see, you can have your seat. I want to quickly say something. You see, Dr. Adenoju here, I call her my mommy because she's full of capacity. Didn't you see capacity? Come on. Thank you so much, mommy, for this beautiful, amazing program. So we have it for the vote of thanks. Thank you.
Privileged to be here to extend a heartfelt vote of thanks at the conclusion of this enriching career fair and symposium themed "Leaders are not made." Leaders are not born, but are made. That is just telling you that you can build yourself up. All those ones you see at the top today, they are not just there. They weren't born with it, but they were made. So you can actually build up yourself and become somebody. Okay? So, first and foremost, let me express the best gratitude to God that made this happen. Okay? And that is the Almighty God. We say, Alhamdulillah for this program. Again, to the Dean of this faculty, who doubles as the First Lady of this university, I say thank and it is evident that we are blessed with the most vibrant Vice Chancellor. Okay? We also appreciate our esteemed speakers, Dr. Shola Ojewumi, Dr. Shola Awoyemi Oma. Yeah, they are all my students. Okay, so I appreciate them for sharing their invaluable insights, their inspiring stories, and their expert advice. Your words have greatly enriched this event, and it has ignited the aspirations in us all. Let me also appreciate Dr. Taiwo Banjo for making this happen. Thank you so much. To other members of the Quality Assurance Control Committee of this faculty, Dr. Muritala, Dr. Shoyinka, Dr. Taiwo, Dr. Atekoja. Okay? I appreciate you all. You have been so wonderful for making this a seamless coordination and for the success of this event. To our sponsors, Cadbury Nigeria PLC, brought here by one of us, an alumnus of this university, brought Cadbury here. I want to say thank you to Mr. Yinka and Mr. Tijani for making these efforts worthwhile. Lastly, Sea Green Pharmaceuticals, I also appreciate you. Our ex-students are also there, they are working there, and they brought this here, and they are also, we appreciate them. I will not even forget to say kudos to Honorable Adeyoju Adegoke, the Honorable, I think it was the former Commissioner, Honorable Chairman, House Committee on Health, Ogun State. It was once one of you here too. He also sponsored this event. I thank him. Likewise, Sharif Ayola, one of us too. Then he also did quite well by donating generously. Other people that I cannot mention here that has also contributed, I also appreciate them. Lastly, I appreciate all of you seated here for making this worthwhile, for attending this program. As we close this chapter, let us carry forward the ideas and the opportunities that we've gained here today. Together, we can build a brighter, more promising future. Thank you all, and I wish you all success in your future endeavors.
A big round of applause again.
Good afternoon, everyone.